Welcome. It's Emily from Violet Raised Jane, and I just want to say hi to all of you. I hope you're doing well. We're going to bring some stuff to light today. I haven't done a video for a while. I've been going through another of my own dark night, I feel, on the cusp of that storm. And what really came through in the storm that I've been in, which feels like a lot of memories coming back from 2008, that far back. Demons and shadows that I thought I already fought, that I already battled, that I already healed, that I already loved, are showing their faces. And as we're jumping timelines, as we're shifting into the new calibration of our existence, those old, I will call them our ancient ancestral traumas, are wanting to come back to kind of pull us off this path. And so it's primarily up to you and the choices you make from the time you get up to the time you go to bed that are going to rewrite your life. Okay, the choices we make every day. It's just like the food we eat. You are what you eat. You are the choices that you make. And we're really being called to surrender a lot more, to stay on these, because as we ascend, I mean, these forces are going to continuously try to pull us back. And dealing with a multitude of other people right now, I've really felt people that are struggling. So there's kind of like categories I've seen people come out in. They're really, a lot of us have been isolating a lot, me included, and really going dark in our hole to try to discover how to bloom again, coming into spring. There's those that are in resistance. Those are fighting. Those are just angry. And then there's those that are really wanting to kind of either tag on your coattails or grab you to try to pull you down because they're drowning themselves. And a lot of the relationships in our life right now, I feel, have been compromised. For me, some that I felt were really strong ended up breaking, and some that were old ended up coming back and reconnecting. And I feel like we're always shifting and growing, right, and evolving, and we're crisscrossing where we are in each other's path, all of us. And telepathy is an all-time high now too. If you guys have noticed, our connections to one another, we are our own Wi-Fi network. Like, fuck the cell phones and the radiation that come with them. But anyways, back to the point. So I wrote something in 2017 and I felt like this was applicable. I've been guided to share it with you today, and it's titled Omnipresence. And this is the message for right now, okay? Omnipresence. Surrender to God to overcome your obstacles. And as you know, your gifts, your soul, will be revealed and your talents will be brought to light. Get the fuck out of the way. Free from sorrow, expectation, perfectionism, and ultimately attachment. Creates the ability to have an open heart, calm mind, physical stability and concentration. Awareness of the void and acceptance of the space. We can appreciate the opportunity to use that for God by filling it with breath and the love that is unconditional from the source within, God's source. Okay. When you feel this void, what you're feeling is the I am, or omnipresence. This you call upon to enter your consciousness, enter that space. Okay, everything comes from our heart portal. This is our stargate. This is our access to everything. Open your crown and heart chakra first. Then follow the rest of the chakras and allow the flow to rush in, the golden space that is a gift given to us. Bow down to the space, to the void, okay? Surrender. The area reserved for higher self and God consciousness. By filling this space with dense human indulgences, we disconnect from the self and God consciousness. And if humans can realize this, peace can be attained. And that, for some reason, just brought tears to my eyes, because yeah, this came through like years ago, as I said, and we all have this void, but it's not really a void. It's a portal. It's a portal to love, to unconditional source love. It's our portal to the stars, okay? It's our portal that projects our reality in everyday life. And what we do is we clog that portal. We shut it down. We shut down our emotions. We feed it with addictions, things outside ourselves, and then we clog that portal, meaning we're clogging the connection to the divine, to our higher self, to that love. So what we always called was that void. It's not a void. We can call it this. I always like to reference the space between. I'll meet you in the space between. And what I never knew, but what I meant by that was I'll meet you here, because that's where we all are from. We all have beating hearts. Wow, emotions coming up to be released, which are beautiful because I'm connecting, okay? So I hope that this is resonating for you. Bless this space. Pray to this space. If this space is not present, the ego has filled it with poison. If you're struggling to connect, there's nothing wrong with you or what you're doing. And there's nothing that you need to change about you. We just have to remove the obstacles. We just have to remove the barriers and everything is perfect. We have to stop putting those barriers in front of us. And a lot of the things that have been coming up for me too recently have been self-sabotage. Fuck that shit. I'm so over that self-sabotage. Like what happens in our lives is we get hurt. We get hurt a lot, especially as starseeds, empaths, lightworkers. We get smushed our fucking faces in the ground. People don't want to see our bright light, right? It blinds them and they get triggered and all that jazz. But when we get hurt along the way, it ends up clogging our heart portal. And then what we do is people hurt us. We internalize it and then hurt us. So self-sabotage is basically self-harm. And it's because it's like taking something, what somebody said, owning it, and then recycling that, and then beating yourself up for that. So this is kind of the energy that's been happening, and that this message is to tune in. And again, I could get tears immediately, and I always do. Flush this energy with prayer and gratitude. Gratitude to regain consciousness, connected consciousness to the connected collective web of consciousness. Ask the flow to enter you, to clear whatever solid black masses and tainted humid residue is within, that you have asked to enter you or manifested yourself within. Om. And chant to the gods and your higher self to help release faster, to allow the space to resume. Fear of the darkness causes a disease-like thinking in the mind as if there is something wrong. There isn't. There isn't. I want you all to hear that one more time. Fear of the darkness causes a disease-like thinking in the mind as if there is something wrong. The silence of God's space is not to be feared. God's space is love. That is the ego who fears. The ego is wanting to control all areas of your being and wanting to keep the senses dull and consciousness non-existent, so the ego has no one or nothing to battle. The turmoil created inside is when the soul or higher self challenges the mind to keep the space sacred and untouched. The battle will continue until one surrenders. Therefore, the mind must surrender each time the battle arises. It has to every time. And then the soul's presence will be less threatening, as the ego will trust that space is not a threat, and they can work together to create harmony within, and expansive consciousness can prevail. The heart must also heal to open to allow the space to run through it to be the fuel the soul needs to breathe. So in essence, it's getting clear in what your surrender is to. Who are you surrendering to? Our God selves. We are surrendering to that space, to be uncomfortable in it, to dive deep in it, to feel it. It's just the ego's fear. The ego likes confinement, limitations, control. It likes to be kept within a container, right? Of like these four walls. The void doesn't have walls. So the ego is like, what the fuck? I have no say in what's going on here. There's too much space. I have nothing to attach or grab onto. The ego flips out and then makes you run from that space. Run from that space. Or clog it so you can't see the space. So just like in a room, if you collect a lot of things, if you like to hoard things, if you like to keep things, usually that's an indication of a blockage that we don't like that space. We don't like that space. That space is scary. There's something in that space that I don't want to feel or remember. So the omnipresence, the void, the space between the heart center, our heart portal. It's returning to innocence. It's returning to love. It's surrendering. And right now, as I said, with the energies, the self-sabotage, the shifting of timelines, the games that are kind of being played psychically, I felt, because there will be a lot of pulls, okay, like I said, from either people on the outside, external factors. And external factors cannot affect you when you go in this void, when you go in this space, when you go here, connect with your higher self and our channel of the divine. There is a message too that we are freeing so many people when we use our voice. And the fear that you may be feeling right now, that you're wanting to say something, that you're wanting to share something, that you're wanting to come out with something, you're wanting to be seen, you're wanting to show yourself. And so many, I'm seeing the floodgates open, and so many are being called to their missions now and are coming out. I'm also talking on a big scale, but on a smaller scale. So with the people in your lives that are, let's say, judgmental, their opinions don't align with yours, okay? There's a lot of us that are awake, and then we're still surrounded by friends and family that, haven't caught on yet. And there causes a lot of friction. And if you can stand strong and not let it affect you, okay, it still can, but not let it affect your stance in your truth. But I'm also being called to share your truth regardless. Now, not to put yourself in harm's way if you're going to get a massive backlash, but share it any way you can. As wayshowers, as leaders, if we're not speaking, if we're not showing ourselves, where's the target? People don't know where to go. They don't know what to do. We need to present ourselves. We need to shine our light, and we need to use our voice. So I'm really encouraging you to use your voice. Use it and stand strong in yourself. And try your best to continue to surrender every day. inward. Dedicate yourself to self. Self. The word self is not selfish. Self. The space where you as a separate identity from the collective exists. As we are all one connected, your soul has had an evolutionary experience here on the planet. You may be an old soul, you may be a younger soul, you may be a starseed. Your soul came here to experience the human experience. And I was driving 2 days ago. I wrote this down actually. What came through to me for the first time in my experience here, because so I'm 38 now. So I'd say for 37 of those years, I came back and forth between running from this planet, not wanting to be here. Since I was young, I wanted to go home. I was depressed. I dealt with so many issues, crying to be home, to rip out of this body. I couldn't be contained in this vessel. I was too big for this vessel. But I finally felt for the first time this week, why would I ever want to leave here? Yeah, okay, it's like a matrix prison. Okay, that I've got to battle all this shit. Okay, and deal with sorrow and grief and severe pain and physical illness and heartbreak and all of those things. But fuck, did it hit me that I wanted to leave here for most of my life. And so many of you did too. And so many people right now want to get the fuck out of here. And what's missing is that gratitude. Again, I feel tears. This is the most beautiful planet there is. To wake up in a body, to feel, to smell, to have your senses activated, to see beautiful things in nature, to have moments that you share with another, to connect with a tree, to challenge yourself, to learn new things, to physically experience pleasure. There is so many miracles on this planet. And you're the biggest one of them. You're the biggest one of them. So really, to wrap up this message, it's surrendering. Become your own pillar of strength, of love, and the gratitude of this gift of life that you didn't have to do anything for. This is a gift to you. All you have to do is live it. What is stopping you today? And whatever comes up for you, surrender it. What does it look like to surrender? To let go of the attachment of any ideas connected to it. If you're scared that you're not going to get a job in time, you have to pay your bills. If you're, going through a breakup and you're missing that person, you're fighting yourself every day. If you are starting a new business and you're scared that you don't know what you're doing and you're going to fail. If you're a new mother or a new parent, surrender it. It's happening. Surrender it. Because the more you hang on to the fear and the attachment, that creates the inevitable outcome of that which you are fearful of. Let it all go. There's such a peace here that comes when you let it all go. Let it go. Breathe into that space. Breathe into your body. And surrender to whatever will be. And the more you're connected to your heart portal, to the higher consciousness, the easier that will be, because there is no attachment there. If you're a pure portal to the divine, nothing can, it's like a hurricane. Nothing's permanently floating in the air. It's all flying everywhere and will land wherever it lands. So does a hurricane question, oh, where am I going to drop that house? Oh, on Dorothy's legs? No, it was the witch. I just saw the Wizard of Oz. Yeah, where am I going to drop that house? Oh, I'm going to drop it on the witch. Take her out, bitch. You know, like, what is it that you need to surrender today? Choose one thing. Choose one thing. And let that bird fly. And please, if you have any questions about what's happening in the collective, if you're doing shadow work right now, if you're in it deep, or if you're actually expanding your consciousness and you're wanting to learn more about this journey, please feel free to contact me. We have got a lot coming for us in the next few months. You're not even the same person you were yesterday, but I can tell you by April, you will not recognize yourself. Or in fact, let's say that differently. You will never have noticed how beautiful you are. And you will never see yourself like you used to again. The new version of you will be shocking and you won't recognize. Yet you will be more familiar than you ever have before. I hope you guys have a beautiful day. Try to keep grounded. Stay rooted. Stay rooted. Stay grounded. Keep breathing. And may all your wishes come true. It's up to you. From here, from me to you.